Your trigger is probably the worst part of your carry gun, and you do not even know it. Most shooters spend years carrying a mediocre factory trigger and never realize what they are missing because they have never felt a genuinely excellent one. The sponge, the stack, the vague wall. That is not how carry triggers are supposed to feel. Today we are fixing that. 10 carry pistols with factory triggers so good they make aftermarket upgrades pointless. Real guns you can carry today. At number 1 ships with a trigger that custom gunsmiths charge hundreds of dollars to build on other platforms. Let's get into it. How we are ranking these. Every pistol gets judged on 4 trigger-specific criteria: break weight and whether it stacks or breaks cleanly, reset length, and how tactile it is under stress. Wall definition, because a clear wall separates a trigger you can stage from one that surprises you. And consistency, because triggers that change as they wear are not carry triggers. Same standards. Every gun. Let's rank. Number 10, Taurus GX4 XL. The Taurus GX4 XL opens this list because it does something that should not be possible at its price point. It ships with a trigger that embarrasses pistols costing 3 times as much. 13+1 capacity, width of 1.03 inches, weight unloaded of 19.4 ounces. The flat-faced trigger breaks at around 5 pounds with a wall cleaner and more defined than anything else in the budget carry category. The reset is short and positive. Shooters expecting a budget trigger walk away, describing an experience that competes with guns in the $500 range. Taurus invested heavily in trigger quality, specifically because their reputation needed a flagship feature to rebuild on. Why number 10? The overall platform is still building the reliability track record the higher-ranked guns have already established. Price approximately $380. Capacity 13+1. Best for budget buyers who want a genuinely excellent factory trigger without spending premium money. Number 9. Beretta 92 XI CENTURION 15+1 capacity. The CENTURION is the compact 92 XI variant with a 4.25-inch barrel that conceals significantly better than the full-size 92. The single-action trigger breaks at around 3.8 pounds with a clean, crisp break, and one of the shortest resets available on any hammer-fired carry pistol. The skeletonized hammer reduces lock time between trigger break and firing pin strike. The double-action first shot pulls at around 9 pounds with a smooth, consistent pull that improves with round count. Single-action quality after that first shot rivals custom shop work on competing platforms. Why number 9? The double-action first shot requires dedicated training that pure striker-fired shooters need to develop. The platform is larger than the thinnest micro-compact competitors. Price approximately $879. Capacity 15+1. Best for shooters who want hammer-fired trigger quality in a compact carry package and are willing to train the double-action first shot. Number 8. Canik METE SFX. The Canik METE SFX is the carry pistol that proves value and trigger excellence are not mutually exclusive. 18+1 capacity, barrel length of 5.2 inches, width of 1.45 inches, weight unloaded of 29.5 ounces. The trigger breaks at around 4 pounds with a glass rod break that experienced shooters associate with custom shop pistols costing 3 times the price. Take-up is minimal. The wall is distinct. Reset is short with a clear tactile click. Canik includes a full competition package in the box. 2 magazines, holster, loader, cleaning kit, and backstraps all ship standard. Why number 8? The size and weight put this firmly in the range and home defense category, rather than daily concealed carry. The trigger excellence comes partly from the longer barrel and heavier slide delivering more consistent cycling mechanics. Price approximately $549. Capacity 18+1. Best for shooters who want a competition-grade trigger in a carry-ready full-size package at a value price point. Number 7. Kimber R7 Mako. Kimber built their entire brand reputation on trigger quality in the 1911 market. The R7 Mako is their attempt to bring that trigger philosophy into the modern striker-fired carry market, and they largely succeeded. 11+1 flush capacity, 13+1 extended, width of 0.98 inches, weight unloaded of 19.4 ounces. The factory trigger breaks at around 5 pounds with a take-up and wall combination that Kimber specifically engineered to match the feel of their best 1911 single-action work in a striker-fired mechanism. The wall on the R7 Mako is the standout feature. It is the clearest, most distinct wall in the micro-compact category. Shooters who train on 1911-style triggers describe the transition to micro-compacts as the hardest part of switching. Kimber specifically addressed that problem. TrueGlow Pro tritium night sights are standard, optics ready with the RMSC footprint. Why number 7? Pricing is premium for the micro-compact category. Long-term reliability data is still accumulating on the relatively young platform. Price approximately $599. Capacity 11 plus 1 flush, 13 plus 1 extended. Best for 1911 trained shooters who want to carry a micro-compact with a trigger wall that matches their training. Number 6. Walther PDP Compact. Walther built the PDP platform around one specific goal. The finest factory striker fired the trigger available on a carry pistol. They achieved it. 15 plus 1 capacity, width of 1.3 inches, weight unloaded of 24.7 ounces. The performance duty trigger breaks at around 4.5 pounds with a take-up so short and a wall so crisp that Walther trainers literally use this gun in courses to demonstrate what a proper striker fired trigger feels like to students who have never experienced one. The reset is the PDP's signature achievement. In rapid fire, the reset happens so quickly and clearly that shooters report more control over split times than with any other carry pistol they have used. Super terrain slide serrations. Optics ready with direct mounting. Why number 6? The PDP platform is younger than Glock or SIG, which means the multi-decade reliability track record is still being established. Price approximately $679. Capacity 15 plus 1. Best for shooters who want the finest factory striker fired, trigger reset available on a carry pistol in 2026. Number 5. Springfield ARMORY Echelon. 18 plus 1 capacity, width of 1.28 inches, weight unloaded of 25.6 ounces. The central operating group trigger breaks at around 4.9 pounds with controlled take-up, a distinct stageable wall, a clean break, and short positive reset. What separates the Echelon is consistency across environmental conditions. Most striker-fired triggers feel slightly different when wet, cold, or gloved. The central operating group maintains consistent break weight and wall definition across temperature ranges that other triggers do not match. The variable interface system mounts over 30 red dot configurations, directly without adapter plates. Why number 5? The Echelon is a newer platform with long-term field reliability data still accumulating. Some shooters find the trigger geometry requires adjustment from other striker-fired platforms. Price approximately $710. Capacity 18 plus 1. Best for shooters who want consistent trigger performance across all environmental conditions with modern optics integration. Number 4. Shadow Systems, MR920. Shadow Systems built their entire brand on a single premise. They would build the Glock that Glock should have built. The MR920 is the most refined expression of that premise. 15 plus 1 capacity, width of 1.18 inches, weight unloaded of 23.2 ounces. The factory trigger breaks at around 4 pounds with a flat face, distinct wall, and is shorter and more tactile than any standard Glock trigger. Shadow Systems' hand fits every trigger group before shipping. The difference is immediately apparent. The break is cleaner, the reset is shorter, the wall is more defined, consistency from pull to pull is tighter. Shadow Systems also ships the MR920 with a match-grade barrel, aggressive frame stippling, and optics-ready capability standard. Why number 4? Pricing is premium. Shadow Systems is a younger brand without the decades of institutional adoption that the top 3 guns on this list carry. Price approximately $999. Capacity 15 plus 1. Best for Glock platform shooters who want every trigger and accuracy improvement Glock should have shipped from the factory. Number 3. HK VP9. HK builds firearms to a standard that the consumer market rarely sees, and the VP9 trigger is the clearest expression of what that standard produces in a striker-fired carry pistol. 15 plus 1 capacity, width of 1.32 inches, weight unloaded of 26.1 ounces. The trigger breaks at around 5 pounds, but the break weight is not the story. The story is the quality of everything before and after the break. The take-up is controlled and smooth. The wall is clean and consistent across every pull. The break is crisp without over-travel. The reset is tactile and audible with a click that registers clearly even with gloved hands. HK spent 2 years testing the trigger mechanism before releasing the gun. The result feels like a precision instrument rather than a safety mechanism. Why number 3? Pricing is premium. The aftermarket is thinner than dominant brands, but for pure trigger quality in a carry-ready striker-fired pistol, the VP9 competes directly with the 2 guns above it. Price approximately $799. Capacity 15 plus 1. Best for shooters who want the finest precision engineered striker fired trigger available from a major manufacturer. Number 2. CZP-10C Optics Ready. The CZP-10C Optics Ready trigger is the finest factory striker fired trigger available in the compact carry category in 2026. That is not an opinion. It is the consistent conclusion of every serious comparative trigger evaluation conducted on current production carry pistols. 15 plus 1 capacity, width of 1.26 inches, weight unloaded of 26 ounces. The trigger breaks at around 4.5 pounds with minimal take-up, a clean, distinct wall, and a reset so short and tactile it has more in common with a competition pistol trigger than a carry pistol trigger. CZ engineered the trigger group with a shorter striker travel than most competitors and a reset mechanism that engages closer to the wall than any other production striker-fired compact. The result is a trigger experienced shooters describe as feeling tuned when it is completely stock. Optics ready with multiple footprint compatibility, cold, hammer-forged barrel, 3 interchangeable backstraps. Why number 2? Holster selection still does not reach the depth of Glock ecosystem support. Price approximately $549. Capacity 15 plus 1. Best for shooters who want the finest factory striker-fired trigger in the compact carry category without paying competition pistol pricing. Number 1. Walther Q 5-Match SF. Number 1 is going to make every shooter who has been spending money on aftermarket trigger upgrades question every decision they have ever made. The Walther Q 5-Match SF ships from the factory with a trigger that most shooters spend years and hundreds of dollars trying to achieve on other platforms. 15 plus 1 capacity, full steel frame, barrel length of 5 inches, weight unloaded of 40.6 ounces. The quick defense trigger breaks at around 2.8 pounds with essentially zero take-up, a wall precisely defined and consistent across thousands of pulls, and a reset measured in millimeters that is the fastest available on any production carry pistol in 2026. The steel frame is why the trigger achieves this consistency. Steel does not flex under firing stress, meaning the trigger geometry stays identical across temperature ranges and round counts that cause polymer frames to introduce variation. Optics ready with direct mounting. Walther Performance Center. Trigger tuned at the factory. After running any of the other 9 guns on this list and experiencing excellent triggers, shooters pick up the Q5-Match SF and immediately understand that they have been experiencing excellence, and this is something else entirely. 2.8 pounds. Consistent, predictable, precise. From the factory, the Q5-Match SF is not the most concealable gun on this list. The steel frame at 40.6 ounces is demanding for all-day carry. But for shooters who prioritize trigger quality above all other criteria, nothing else delivers what this gun delivers from the box. Price approximately $1,599. Capacity 15 plus 1. Best for shooters who want the finest factory trigger available on any production carry pistol in 2026 and will carry the weight to have it. Quick breakdown of who should buy what. If you want the finest factory trigger on any production carry pistol, Walther Q5-Match SF. If you want the finest factory striker fire trigger in the compact carry category, CZP-10C Optics Ready. If you want HK precision engineering in a striker fired trigger, HK-VP9. If you want the Glock platform with every trigger improvement Glock should have made, Shadow Systems MR920. If you want consistent trigger performance across all environmental conditions, Springfield Echelon. If you want the fastest factory striker fired, reset on a carry-sized pistol, Walther PDP Compact. If you want a 1911 style wall in a micro-compact striker-fired package, Kimber R7 Mako. If you want competition-grade trigger quality at a value price, Canik METE SFX. If you want hammer-fired single-action precision in a compact carry package, Beretta 92 XI CENTURION. If you want a genuinely excellent factory trigger under $400, Taurus GX 4XL. The trigger is the only part of the pistol you interact with on every single shot. It deserves more attention than the carry market typically gives it. Hit that like button if this ranking opened your eyes to what a factory trigger can actually be. Subscribe for more honest firearms content. Drop a comment telling us which carry pistol trigger you think is best, or whether we got number 1 completely right. Stay safe, stay trained, stay a responsible gun owner.